and witness a new era of peace.
Hi, my name is Alex and I welcome you to today's video. Few game series embrace excess quite like Dynasty Warriors. Thousands of soldiers on screen, oversized weapons and battles that feel more like moving walls of chaos than traditional combat encounters have always defined the franchise. Dynasty Warriors Origins takes that familiar spectacle and tries to ground it in a more focused modern framework. Now let's put it to the test and see whether the game truly lives up to its ambitions on the Nintendo Switch 2. The narrative here is surprisingly grounded for a Musou game. Instead of a sprawling cast of dozens of heroes, Origins follows a more focused protagonist with a blank slate, thrust into the turmoil of ancient China, searching for purpose amid the chaos. Along the way you encounter legendary figures from the era, from scheming warlords to noble generals, and your alliances shape how key events unfold. What makes the story stand out is less related to its complexity rather than how it threads familiar moments from the Three Kingdoms legend into your progression without getting lost in fanfiction. You'll witness colossal conflicts like the Yellow Turban Rebellion and the clash at Chibi, and the way these battles are framed makes you feel like you're participating in history rather than just watching it on stage. Some of the voice work and cutscenes don't hit the heights you might expect from modern cinematic titles, but the sheer weight of the confrontations and the sense of being at the center of a continent-spanning conflict more than makes up for it.
Are you aware that there have been many similar happenings of late?
Gameplay in Origins strikes a balance between classic Musou button mashing and a more thoughtful approach to combat. On the surface it looks like the familiar crowd-clearing action scenes veterans know. Cycle through attacks, unleash special moves and watch hordes of foes collapse in your wake. But there's a tactical rhythm here that sets it apart. Battles aren't just about moving forward blindly. Enemy captains and commanders require timing and positioning, and you'll often find your success hinging on your ability to read the battlefield. Some encounters force you to adapt on the fly, pull back to regroup, or even hold key positions to enable your wider strategy. There's a sense of control and responsiveness that feels fresh, giving weight to decisions you might make mid-fight, rather than just clicking buttons repeatedly. Environment and terrain play roles here too. Charging into a river of foes on horseback feels different from pushing through narrow choke points on foot. The pacing of missions supports both short bursts of chaos and longer, more sustained engagements, making it easy to jump in for a quick session or settle in for several hours of uninterrupted battle. From a technical standpoint, the Switch 2 version offers two distinct performance modes, and the choice between them genuinely affects how the game feels. There is a locked 30 frames per second mode that stays completely stable and allows for a slightly higher resolution, along with improved visual effects. Lighting, particles and the overall image clarity benefit noticeably from this setting, and battles feel more cohesive because the frame pacing never wavers. This is the mode that feels most polished and consistent. The alternative is an unlocked framerate mode, where performance fluctuates between 30 and 60 frames per second. Most of the time the game sits in the upper range, especially during smaller encounters, which makes movement and combat feel snappier. Once the screen fills with massive crowds and large-scale effects, the framerate dips closer to 30. To balance this, the game drops the additional visual enhancements, resulting in a flatter presentation overall. It's a trade-off that prioritizes responsiveness over spectacle. After spending time with both options, the locked 30 frames per second mode felt like the better fit for Dynasty Warriors Origins. The stability combined with the improved visuals makes large battles easier to read and more satisfying to watch unfold. While the unlocked mode has its moments, the consistency of the locked option better supports the scale and density that define the game. Visually, the game also represents a clear step forward compared to Koei Tecmo's previous Switch 2 effort, Wild Hearts. Textures appear noticeably sharper, especially on character models and terrain, and shadow pop-in is far less frequent and much less distracting during fast movement across the battlefield.
For your valor. Now, go on. Leave the rest to us.
In the end, Dynasty Warriors Origins on the Switch 2 is a worthy addition to the series, and one of the most fully realized Warriors titles on the Nintendo platform. It keeps the essence of what makes its franchise fun. Overwhelming odds, satisfying chaos and big memorable battles, while adding enough structure and tactical depth to make it more than just mindless button mashing. That said, a fully locked 60 frames per second mode would have elevated the experience even further, and feels like the one major feature still missing from an otherwise strong technical package. Even without it, Origins represents a significant step forward for the series, especially when compared to the more experimental open-world direction of the previous entry. By returning to structured battlefields and tightening its core systems, the game feels more focused, more satisfying, and ultimately more in line with what makes Dynasty Warriors work so well. For fans of the genre and newcomers alike, this version delivers a solid taste of large-scale conflict you can take on the go. For these reasons, I rate Dynasty Warriors Origins for the Nintendo Switch 2 an 8 out of 10. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. If you liked it, we would be very happy about a like and a subscription. Or if you're interested in getting early access to our future reviews, feel free to visit our Patreon page.